Yes, I have something for you. We just received an incoming transmission from one of our personal convoys traveling through Hatomo. They reported that they were under attack by unidentified craft, which refused to reply to their attempts at communication. Soon afterwards, the transmission was cut off, and we haven't heard from them since. Normally, I would send a reconnaissance mission to the last known location of the convoy and scout the area before attempting any further action, but this situation is different. The convoy that was destroyed was carrying a very valuable artifact, which must be retrieved at all costs. Sealed in a booby-trapped special delivery package, we're to head out there and look for it. Fortunate signs on us today, the attack on our artifact will still be close by. Do this for me and you should be rewarded, Palanai and I'm. I don't know why he just keeps stop tracking. Just randomly shits itself.
Autopilot disabled. No waypoint set.
Oh.
Autopilot engaged. Moving to Stargate. Warp drive active.
One, two, three. Don't know what they're talking about scanning. Making money from that.
Autopilot jumping. Autopilot disabled. No waypoint set.
Oh, we're already true. Warp.
Warp drive active.
One, two. Sorry, I'm agitated today, so I'm just more off. And again, I keep feeling like, oh, well, yeah, gonna join a corp. I'm done now. Why? No, you're not done. God, most of EVE Online is taken up with activation gates. I swear they put in some extra than I remember previously.
Warp drive active.
But yeah, once I join the corp, I will have to be hiding this because I'll need to be in corp check constantly. Yeah, I'm in scope. So, just had to make sure I was still there. Unprocessed. And yeah, dino nuggets. Oh, it's this one. Drone particle accelerator. The science allowed by zero gravity can be mind-boggling as it is beautiful, as demonstrated by this particle accelerating superstructure. Engage it. Wow, it's respectably tanky. Something is aiming for my acolyte. They're all cruiser sized. Engage it. Negligible damage. There's a remember I was saying earlier about guns are a useful thing, because you know, beyond strength differences, not everyone is skilled in a fight. Even if someone was equal in strength, that person could just be a better fighter, or was they caught the other person flat-footed, so on and so forth. There was a video there of an old guy getting attacked, getting his shit kicked in just for existing near some people. Now I know the audacity. Truly a brazen get. Oh, they're after doing heavy damage to that ogre of mine. Like shielding wise. The rest came pre-done. Every so often the game has been twitching. It's weird. Ah, oh, damn it. My probes went down. No, computer. I'm not installing a Windows update. I prefer my PC to continue working, thank you. People... I don't know the context if some, what procked it off, but apparently people were shaming others for not being into polygamous relationships. There on Twitter. It really takes all types, doesn't it? But, yeah. Oh, did I never drop the other thing? I didn't. At least I hadn't forgot it anywhere. But yeah, shaming them for not being into that. If it works for you, that's fine, but it doesn't work for everyone. And it's better for people to recognize that it doesn't work for them than to go into something that's not good for them. That's the sensible, mature thing of it, But these people don't seem to care for that. Ooh, 50 grand apiece. Not much, but it's a nice little bit of cash. I don't know what's going on with the Twitchy. Yeah, this is fun. Apparently it does cover war as well. Faction? I don't know what that is. Seems none of them dropped any loot. Or if any did, they've already been looted. But that's fine. We'll get plenty of salvage. Again, I don't know what's with the weird new sounds. I never heard them before. Okay, the special delivery is personal items, commodities, yeah, probably in here now. Yeah, maybe one of the Annihilators dropped it. No. Hmm. Oh. Get to it. You can see the vast speed difference. Remember about the poly thing? And since people were shaming it, they started taking the piss out of it. The reason you're scared of a poly relationship is because you view your partner as your personal property. As opposed to viewing them as public property? Yes, comrade, it is our GF. Seizing our means of reproduction. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not one of those people who could do that. That's not in me. I'm very much a one person kind of. Yeah, it's obviously fun for a person with have friends and whatnot, but I'm not going to share them intimately with someone else. No, no, that's not my cup of tea. Like, trust me, I have plenty of weird like quirks and shit, but that's not one of them. That's not one of them. You know, there's some days I see shit online and I'm just like, you know, might be holding out for Eldritch waifu, you know, being, you know, trying to wife a being beyond mortal understanding is the sane option. Sometimes I feel that way. Most of the time I feel that way. Oh, apologies, get off the mic. And that was my shoulder. Oh, Jesus! Fuck. Someone posted, there's a Twitter account called How Did You Get Out Alive? And there's a guy, he's got sandals on and a hard hat, and he's kind of goofing around next to a dilapidated building. He's standing on like a small wall, pushing against a broken other wall. And when he knocks that one wall down, he's just kind of standing there, you know, idle animation. The other wall falls on him, lands right on his bleeding head. Well, it may have been bleeding after, I couldn't see. But yeah, he just, like, he gets hit by it and just kind of staggers away from it. Still alive. And he just kind of is like, I think maybe his foot's stuck under it. But he gets it out.
Approaching Stargate.
Someone here was claiming a random historical fact. I don't know if it's true, but it's an interesting one. That there's a during World War II in the Japanese army, there was an Admiral Yamamoto, and the guy who planned Pearl Harbor was against the war with US and straight up said he could only guarantee victory for 6 months, almost to the day Battle of Midway happened. And after that, any chances of victory for Japan died. And he died sometime thereafter during the war because the US got the transport plane he was on. He'd actually worked in the US, and he knew even demoralized the US would kick their ass. But apparently Japan did not listen to him. Or, you know, the Emperor or whoever. I don't know too much about the olden Japanese political situation. I can't testify to any degree of knowledge. I still can't get over the stuff I was saying I had heard about the Japanese legal system. It's just like, shouldn't the corruption there be obvious to them? You know, if you didn't see it, the corruption was that in the Japanese legal system, the person who decides whether a court case goes ahead or not is the prosecutor. Beyond that, the person leading the police in the investigation of the crime is the prosecutor. Meaning, presumably, if you follow that through,
Permission requested.
that at will they can destroy any evidence that would jeopardize their case, because they are rabidly obsessed with having a 100% win rate. Which is why they...
Accepted.
No, they probably flex the other side of being able to decide whether a case goes ahead or not.
Disabled.
That if it seems anyway in doubt, of the being just like, no. And, you know, it's... The whole thing seems very dodgy. Like, you know, you're giving them a potential opening to destroy evidence or to preserve their win rate, not go to court. Declaring people not guilty, well, you know, getting people off the hook. Too easy. I'm not sure quite how it plays out, but it's just like, if they're the ones in charge of the investigation, they kind of have a vested interest to either tilt the investigation in their favor or to call the whole thing off if it isn't in their favor heavy enough. Because they have a weighted interest in that. Like obviously in world over, prosecutors want to win, defenders want to win. Obviously, world over. That's their shtick. But you don't then proceed to hand, like, hey, prosecutor, here's the key to the evidence locker. Presumably. I don't know the full deets, but they apparently lead investigations, so they presumably have access. Or could at least bias investigations in particular ways, or, you know, whatever. I remember hearing of one case in America, to jump train a little. The college was investigating a crime, and there was no the college for whatever reason was handling a criminal investigation, and they'd hired an independent investigator to look into it. Accordingly, allegedly, the defendant's father spoke out about it because from what he was seeing, his son was being sailed up the river. Because allegedly, according to him, the investigator turned to him and told him, I don't care what evidence you have that your son's innocent. I was only hired to prove his guilt, to find evidence against him. So the son was being sailed up the river. The only evidence that would be brought forward to the courts will be whatever would be against the kid. Anything that disproves him, no interest. So if I'm just imagining if that's what the college courts were like, I can only imagine the shenanigans going on over there, and because there's like it, you know. I know it feels more entrenched, or like, you know, they're hell bent on preserving their 100% win rate. That was just a private investigator hired. You know, it's these people have more their neck on the line. You know, so feeding more of a bias. But yeah, at least anyway, to cut short my editorializing, what's the phrase? To cut that short, basically, yeah, the prosecutors decide whether a case goes ahead or not, and they also guide the investigations. To what degree, I'm not sure, but I can imagine they could bias investigators. They could, you know, get rid of evidence. You know, you're giving people, and because these people are very fixated on their 100% win rate, and you're giving them additional power to preserve that. So yeah, I also remember hearing one thing that happened in Japan. Apparently, an American, I believe, was attacked by a Japanese person. Apparently, the local media just reported it as the inverse. Because, like I was saying before, while Japan does have some aspects. Some people, there, it's the same with every place. Some people in a country are welcoming of those not identical to them, others aren't. And it's perfectly legal in Japan, for example, to have a store and bar anyone not pure Japanese from it. Say if I had a kid and that kid had a kid, that kid would be barred from stores, particular stores, provided they knew that kid would not be considered Japanese enough, from what I've heard. Um, it's perfectly legal over there to do that. So yeah, apparently media was tilting it to imply that the foreigner was the one at fault, despite the fact they were the one getting mugged. At least that's what I heard anyway. Again, like every country has their shitty sides, shitty aspects. It's nowhere is perfect. Nowhere is. I know. I remember hearing some phrase, "No one's without sin." Yeah. Well, I'm not exactly religious. There's a great twang to the word sin. It's got the great pizzazz, you know, and so it does. So I do quite like it. And yeah. Um, no one is without it. So, yeah. Like every country has their shitty history. Every country has different aspects of its populace getting up to shit, being a shit cunt in some capacity. Everyone does. But I was saying it to a friend before, and he was joking. It's just, I can't quite remember the phrasing of it, but "let me love you" was the thing. And yeah, that's basically it. I've seen a lot of Japan that seems really cool or whatever, and it's just like it makes the questionable aspects ever more annoying because it's just like "let me love you, damn it." So yeah. Again, if I'm wrong, I do apologize, but that's what I've seen of it, and it's yeah, that's what I've seen and heard about it. So. I actually remember seeing something funny where someone was trying to claim that the whole "you're not Japanese if you've an ounce of foreign blood in you" was to make foreigners integrate better. I don't get how that's meant to work when it doesn't matter how well you integrate. One drop. You know, doesn't matter. You're still barred from places. So, I'm getting hassled on the streets by police, apparently. Um, that's one thing I remember hearing. That police do hassle you if you're a foreigner. Trying to come up, intimidate you, demanding ID, just because you happen not to be Japanese. No other reason, apparently. So, again, all countries have their flaws. It's just I see so many cool things from Japan. It's like I want, give me pom poms here, and then they come out with this stuff, and it's just like, God damn it! And I'm just like, it's like a cock box with the pom poms here. It's just like, ah. So I just end up more annoyed and whatnot. If I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong. I really would, but apparently I'm not. Thank you. Your accomplishment has been noted and saved into our database. Gee, thanks. Nice money, though. The corporations of the state have many friends, as you know. Many friends in many interesting, useful places. Why is this relevant, you ask? Well, it's not at all. It's merely an idle thought I had today that I wanted to impart upon you. But actually, I have come to think about the topic of friends. I have a particular friend of mine in a difficult situation. He's due for a promotion, you see. More accurately, he would be if there weren't other promising individuals ahead of him in line. Such promising individuals, indeed, that I'm sure their superiors would miss dearly if anything were to happen to them. But it'll be very helpful for us, if this friend of ours were able to get what he wants. However, you see, they're all Galente officers. For any agent in the state to interfere in Federation matters would be quite wrong now, wouldn't it? Of course, with all the random third-party violence these days, it's not terribly uncommon for valiant officers, Galente or otherwise, to meet quite unfortunate ends in any number of, well, mishaps. Yes, Palnai, it's not uncommon at all, is it? So I'm sure things will work themselves out somehow. Anyhow, your mission. Right, well, this is quite embarrassing. I've completely forgotten any mission I might have had for you. Come to think of it, I've completely forgotten everything I was just talking about. Goodness. Better go lie down for a while. But I don't suppose you could look after my dad about here. Why rest? It's quite important, you see, for it has the current coordinates of one of those promising Federation individuals, one of the ones we just discussed. Wouldn't want that to fall into the wrong hands now, would I? And you look like you could use a break too. Maybe a luxury cruise out into space somewhere nearby, chance to relax and, oh, I don't know, enjoy some scenery. Maybe pay someone a visit. By the time I wake up, maybe my worries could have taken care of themselves, Laying it on a little too thick there, mate. Of course. Yes, of course, please forgive me. I'll just get some rest now. Do close the door on your way out. Ooh, even nicer. Oh, cutthroat competition, Jesus Christ. Let me just stop for a sec.